Welcome to the Notary News channel. This is a forum for all things notary and some things not. Please be sure to like and subscribe so that you can receive the notifications for the latest videos posted to the forum. My name is Desiree Roman Rodriguez, and I'm a subject matter expert in all things notary in the state of Illinois. I'm also an enrolled agent credentialed by the Internal Revenue Service to prepare taxes and help taxpayers solve their tax resolutions all the way up through the U.S. Tax Court. This week on the Notary News Forum, I'd like to discuss taxpayers who are not reporting their cash income. So, with tax season in full swing, obviously I am getting a lot of questions for people who are filing their tax returns, and I'm also getting a lot of questions for people who haven't been filing their tax returns, and so they have been missing out on getting the stimulus payments. Now, if you are typically someone who's an entrepreneur, you get cash as your source of revenue, you don't usually have a way to track that cash and prove that you are earning that income unless you are putting it into a bank account or you have a way to show that you are cashing checks. So, for example, and I know that a lot of times taxpayers don't want to, or actually they're not taxpayers because they're not reporting the cash and they are only working in cash because they don't want to have it tracked per se by the IRS, so that there's no way to know what kind of income that you have, and that way you're not paying taxes on the income that you're getting. I get that. There's plenty of taxpayers that do that. I'm not talking to those taxpayers who want to continue doing that. I'm talking to the taxpayers who have been doing that. They're not sure how they're supposed to be reporting that income, and now they're feeling a little disgruntled because they haven't been reporting their income on their tax returns, and now they're not getting any of the stimulus payments that everybody else is getting. So I have had obviously several people call and say, "Hey, I want to be able to, get the stimulus, and, but I don't have a way to report my income." And because they have been working and getting cash. And so, some of the ways that you are able to document the cash that you are getting is, I have one customer who gets paid checks and she doesn't have a bank account. She goes to the currency exchange and she cashes her checks, and that's how she gets paid. Well, every year she comes into our office and she presents us with the ledger from the currency exchange of all the checks that she has cashed there during the year. And because she's a taxpayer with a dependent, she also has a lower income. By her being able to present those cash check statement to us, she doesn't have a bank account. She cashes the check and she pays everything cash. But that record that the currency exchange is able to give her allows her to be able to file her tax return. And by doing that, she it ends up getting earned income credit. She ends up getting the child tax credit. And even though she doesn't pay any taxes on the income, now she does pay some self-employment tax, because again, remember, your self-employment tax is your Social Security and your Medicare tax. And you want to have a record of that because you want to be able to have that money there in the event you ever need to use it, or when you retire, hopefully Social Security is still around and then you're able to qualify for that. So, but because the income that she's earning isn't a lot, and the income that and the tax credits that she gets from her dependents exceeds the amount of her self-employment tax, her taxes are taken care of and she ends up getting a nice refund. So that's one way to be able to show how you are able to file a tax return when you work for cash. Now, I did have another client who was a freelance bartender. And obviously, when you're freelancing in that kind of capacity, that job is typically all cash. So, unless you're taking that cash and putting it into a bank account, then how can you document that you are getting that income? Well, the easiest way that I recommend to a taxpayer that's in a situation like that is you have to keep a ledger. Okay, so even if you open up an Excel spreadsheet and you put, every weekend that you are working bartending and how much you earn that weekend, then you have now created a record of how much income you are earning in a weekend. Then, when it's time to do your taxes, all you have to do is bring in that ledger, and then I can put that information on a Schedule C and go ahead and prepare your tax return. Now, how do you prepare that if the whole year has passed and you need to kind of rebuild and recreate the money that you earned, and you obviously have cash and you're not quite sure how to do that? Well, think of your expenses. So, if you know you're paying $400 rent every month, you know that you have to pay $45 for electricity every month, you know that you're paying your $20 for your internet or your Netflix, or those kinds of expenses. Think of what your expenses are and then add up your expenses, and then at the very minimum you can ascertain that the money that you earned was at least enough to cover those expenses. And if you know that you paid those bills during the year, then that is how you can figure out how much money you earned when you're getting cash. So the whole reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've seen many people lose opportunities to take advantage of the tax credits that they should be getting if they are filing a tax return. So just because you make cash doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to claim tax credits and be able to contribute to the Social Security system and get those entitlements that as a taxpayer you should have. So for example, if you make less than 15,000, even if you don't have dependents, you are still able to get earned income credit. So even if you don't pay self-employment tax or you don't make estimated tax payments, you want to be able to file the return so that you could at least capture that credit, that tax deduction, and you can use your earned income credit to pay your Social Security and your Medicare taxes. And that's a great benefit for you, and definitely will also meet your requirement of filing a tax return. It will show that you have income, it will show that you're a business owner, and then you would have been able to take advantage of the PPP that had come out. You would have been able to take advantage of getting the economic disaster loan because you would have been recording your income as a business owner. So I don't want taxpayers who earn cash not to report your taxes, and it's not that because I want you to pay taxes. It's because I want you to be able to get the benefits of being a business owner, of having taxes to show that you are earning revenue, to be able to claim the credits that you're entitled to get. And by filing a tax return, you are able to get the benefits that come along when such things like this past year has happened, where there were 3 stimulus payments that were given out. And if you had not filed any tax return this year, last year, or the year before, you did not get any of those stimulus payments. So if you have questions about whether or not you're a good candidate for filing tax returns when you earn cash, give us a call, leave a comment or a post below. I'll be happy to answer your question, or if you want to send it privately, you can always send a message in an email to info@romanendeavors.com. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.